हेलो एवरीवन, आप सभी का फिर से एक बार स्वागत है मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में जिसका नाम है कॉमर्स ट्रेजर। सो वी आर स्टार्टिंग अ न्यू सीरीज विच इज कॉल्ड एज Q20 सीरीज, वेर इन आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस 20 क्वेश्चंस इन ईच वीडियो on upcoming net and set exams of both paper 1 and paper 2. So do watch all the questions, don't skip any question, and without wasting much time, let us go to the first question. Which of the following receipts is of revenue nature? Amount realized from sale of investment, dividend received on investments, amount borrowed from a bank, compensation received from government for acquisition of land for the construction of road. Now, revenue receipts are the receipts which are recurring in nature, which means that it keeps on coming again and again. So, amount realized from sale of investment is not a revenue receipt. Amount borrowed from bank is also not a revenue receipt because we do not borrow on regular basis from bank. Compensation is also not received on regular basis by a company. Therefore, dividend received of investment is said to be a revenue receipt. So as I said, receipts may be of two types, which is capital receipt and it may be revenue receipt. Capital receipts are non-recurring, which means that it is not earned by the business again and again. And revenue receipts are those which we can get again and again. So rent received, interest received, commission received, sales, all this comes in revenue, and remaining like sale of asset, sale of investment, amount borrowed, compensation, insurance claim received, all those are called as capital receipts. SHRM, which stands for Strategic Human Resource Management, considers people as strategic resources for attaining organization goal, organizational objective, competitive advantage, top position in the market. So always we have to remember, whenever we get this word strategic or strategy, always remember that the answer is going to be regarding to competitive, that is competitive advantage. Two isoquants can intersect each other, can never intersect each other, both A and B, none of this. So correct answer for this is option number B, that is two isoquants never intersect each other. If you see the diagram of isoquants, those will be like this, which means that they are not going to intersect each other. If there are two isoquants, they are going to be never touching each other. Now, what are isoquants? Isoquants are nothing but it is a different combination of input at which you get same level of output. So output is going to be same, but input level is going to be different. So three important property which you have to remember about isoquant is, first one, they never intersect each other. Second one, they are convex to origin, which means they are downward sloping. You can remember this point. And they do not touch any axis, that is x axis or y axis, because input cannot be zero whenever you are producing an output. Which of the following is not a force in Michael Porter's 5-force model? So Michael Porter has given a 5-force model of finding out the profit potential of a company and an industry. So in which buyer definitely is a part of 5-force model, supplier is also a part, and industry rivalry is also a part. Complementary products is not a part. So correct answer for this is going to be option number D. So as per Michael Porter, there are 5 forces which are going to affect the profit potential of a company, which is first one, threat of new entrants, second one, bargaining power of suppliers, third one, bargaining power of buyers, fourth one, availability of substitutes, and last one is rivalry among existing firms. The formula dash is the essence of strategic marketing. STP, CRM, TDP, none of this. So correct answer for this is STP, which stands for segmentation, targeting and positioning. Segmentation is nothing but whenever you are dividing the market into different segments or different part, it is called as segmentation. Whenever you are targeting a specific segment, it is called as targeting. And whatever brand positioning you are going to create in the mind of a customer, that is called as positioning, which is nothing but the image which you are going to create. Companies and their suppliers, marketing intermediaries, customers, competitors and public all operate in macro environment, micro environment, both A and B, none of the above. So correct answer for this is micro environment. The business environment is divided into two parts. One is called as macro environment and second is called as micro environment. In micro environment, we have different players such as suppliers, intermediaries, competitors, public and customers. And in macro environment, we have different environment like demographical environment, legal environment, political environment, economical environment, natural environment, technological environment, socio-cultural environment, etc. Accounting Standard 6 is meant for accounting for assets, accounting for treatment of goodwill, depreciation accounting, disclosure of accounting policies. So correct answer for Accounting Standard 6 is depreciation accounting, which is dealt in Accounting Standard 6. Disclosure of accounting policy is dealt in Accounting Standard 1. Apart from these, some important and frequently asked accounting standard in NET and KCET exam are Accounting Standard 2, which is for valuation of inventories, Accounting Standard 3, which is for cash flow statement, Accounting Standard 9, which is for revenue recognition, Accounting Standard 10, which is for fixed assets, 19, which is for lease, and 20, which is for EPS. These are some important ones which you can remember from exam point of view. The cost of borrowing is 8%, tax rate is 25%, after tax cost of debt is. So after tax cost of debt is equal to before tax cost of debt into 1 minus t. Before tax cost of debt is 8% and tax rate is 25%. Therefore, after tax cost of debt is going to be 8 into 0.75, which is going to be 6%, which is option number A. A and B Limited are competing firms merged together. Such mergers are called as vertical mergers, conglomerate mergers, unrelated mergers, none of this. Now, conglomerate merger and unrelated mergers are same. These are the mergers of two firms which are not relating to each other. For example, if PhonePe merge with Reliance company, then it is going to be a conglomerate merger because both the companies do not have anything in common. Vertical mergers are those mergers wherein the firms which are belonging to the same industry but they work on different levels merge together. For example, if PhonePe merges with Flipkart, then it is called as a vertical merger, and if two competitive firms are merging together, then it is called as horizontal merger. For example, if PhonePe and Google Pay merges together, then it is called as a horizontal merger, which is not given in the options. Therefore, option number D, none of this is going to be the right option. People who are available, volunteer or can be easily recruited are used in the sampling method called simple random sampling, cluster sampling, systematic sampling, convenience sampling. So whenever you are selecting the samples based on your convenience, based on easy recruited, then it is called as convenience sampling, which is also called as purposive sampling. And the remaining three samplings all are types of probability based sampling. So probability based sampling has majorly 6 types of sampling, in which simple random sampling, cluster sampling, systematic sampling. Along with this, we have stratified sampling, we have area sampling, and we have multi-stage sampling. So these are the different probability based sampling which are usually asked in exams, and there are some non-probability based sampling. Non-probability based sampling has majorly 4 types. One is called as convenience sampling, which is also called as purposive sampling, quota sampling or chunk sampling, snowball sampling or chain sampling, judgmental sampling or accidental sampling. So these are the different names which are given. Basically, there are 6 types of probability based and 4 types of non-probability based, and all these are very important from exam point of view from both KCET and NET exam. The process of quantifying data is referred to as typology, diagramming, enumeration, none of this. The right option is option number C, which is enumeration. Main memory refers to RAM and ROM, floppy disk, cache memory, none of this. So main memory is also called as primary memory, and it is nothing but, it stands for RAM and ROM. RAM is nothing but random access memory. ROM stands for read only memory. So memory is of 2 types, which is primary memory and secondary memory. So primary memory, as I said, it includes RAM and ROM, and secondary memory includes hard disk, it includes floppy disk, it includes pen drives, etc. In strategic HRM, HR strategies are generally aligned with business strategy, marketing strategy, finance strategy, economic strategy. So strategic human resource management, the HR strategies are aligned to the business strategies, which may be your focus strategy, cost leadership strategy or differentiation strategy. time disparity problem arises when the cash flow pattern of mutually exclusive project is same, different, both A and B, neither A or B. So the correct answer is option number B, different. So whenever there are conflicting result between IRR, that is internal rate of return, and NPV, that is net present value, it may be because of three major reasons. Those reasons are: one is because of time disparity, wherein the pattern of cash flow is not same. Second is called as size disparity, wherein the initial investment of two projects is not going to be same. And third one is called as life disparity, wherein the number of years of the project is going to be different. And because of this, we get sometimes different results of NPV and IRR. Pure oligopoly is a market with product differentiation, without product differentiation, both A and B, none of this. So pure oligopoly is a market wherein there is similar product or without product differentiation. So here there will be similar or homogeneous product, but whenever there is an imperfect oligopoly. So imperfect oligopoly or differentiated oligopoly, there is going to be different heterogeneous product or different products. Monopoly firm is a price taker, price maker, and maker, none of this. So correct option for this is option number B, that is price maker. And perfect competition, there will be price takers. Whatever price is there in the market, they have to sell or buy at that price, but monopolist is a single seller, so therefore he charges whatever he wants to, therefore is a price maker in the market. Questions not followed by a set of answers is known as open-ended questions, close-ended, both A and B, neither A or B. So whenever questions are followed by a dash, that is no options will be given, then it is called as an open-ended question. Whenever options are given, for example, if I ask what is the gender of a particular person and I give you two options, that is male and female, then it is called as a close-ended option because you have to select either male or female. But whenever there is a dash or a question is left open-ended, then it is called as open-ended questions. Which of these option is one of the non-analytical method of job evaluation? Job grading method, point rating method, factor comparison method, none of the above. So job evaluation method has two major types. One is called as non-analytical method, which is also called as non-quantitative method, which includes two methods. One is called as job grading method, which is also called as job classification method, and second one is called as ranking method, which is also called as job comparison method, and second one is called as analytical method, which is also called as quantitative method, which includes point rating method as well as factor comparison method. Therefore the method which is non-analytical method here is job grading method. Term job enlargement means reducing job for workers, assigning additional activities for worker, moving workers from one job to another, none of the above. So right option is option number B, that is whenever you are assigning additional activities, that is called as job enlargement. You are making the job large. Reducing the work of job is called as job simplification. So job simplification is nothing but whenever you are reducing the contents of the job. Moving the workers from one job to another job is called as job rotation. You are rotating the workers from one job to another job. Apart from this, you may get sometimes the meaning of job enrichment, which means whenever you are giving the work to a worker which is of a higher level, then it is called as job enrichment. So all these are also very important from exam point of view. The poor quality of selection will mean extra cost on dash and supervision, training, requirement, work quality, none of the above. So right option is option number A, training. So if you are selecting poor personals or poor HR, then you have to spend more on training as well as supervision, because those workers are not going to be working efficiently in the company. So this was all about today's video, in which we discussed 20 important questions for the upcoming KCET and NET exam. If you like the video, please hit a like button, and if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe my channel and also press the bell icon so that you can get the notification as soon as I upload with the new video. Let us keep a like target of 100 likes on this video. So do share this video with your friends, and let us meet again in another video. Thank you.